That night everyone is having dinner. Paul had planned to leave in the evening, but seeing everyone's love, he pauses and decides to leave in the morning. During dinner, his father asks Paul about his parents. Paul tells him he was raised in an orphanage. He mocks him and taunts him slightly. And then his friends start lecturing him about family traditions, dignity, and so on. Victoria's father, Victoria, supports Paul and says, "What do you know about Paul, Dad? You have no right to hurt him like this. Paul may not have wealth, but he's a gentleman. A good man." Paul feels deeply insulted, gets up and leaves. Victoria also comes out and says, "Dad said some harsh words, but he's not bad at heart. I got married without telling him. That's why he's saying all this to you to hurt me." Paul says, "Look, I don't feel bad at all, nor have I. If I were in his place, I would probably be just as angry." But Victoria says, "No, I know that if you were in Dad's place, you would have happily accepted your daughter and her husband. You're so nice. I knew it the moment I saw you." Paul says, "I'll let you go, that's true, but I have to leave tomorrow morning. My wife will be waiting for me. I came to sell these chocolates for her sake." They both go to sleep, but Mother has already prepared their wedding night. She says that for generations, wedding nights have been celebrated on this bed. "Son, this bed is very lucky. Your wedding night will also be here." Saying this, Mother sends them both into the room. Paul spreads the sheets downstairs and tells them to go upstairs. Victoria says, "If you leave tomorrow, I don't know what will happen to me." Paul says, "Don't worry, you'll definitely find a good life partner." Victoria replies, "How will you find one? I'm pregnant with a child. Who would marry me? If you weren't married, would you ever marry a woman like that?" Paul quickly replies, "If I liked that woman and she liked me too, I would." Victoria now begins to have some confidence that someone will accept me too. Meanwhile, Mother, getting a little romantic with Father, says, "We only have one daughter. She's married. Say good night to her once and come back. What will you lose?" Father leaves and knocks on the door. Paul immediately leaves the sheets and comes to bed, fearing his father's suspicion. Then Victoria calls out, "Father, the door is open. Come in." Opening the door, Dad says, "Mom told me to say good night. I just came to say that, son. Good night, best of luck." With that, he starts to leave. But then he sees the sheets spread out and becomes a little suspicious, but he goes quietly. Then they both fall asleep, but Paul again has visions of the war and cries out. Victoria calms him down. Meanwhile, in the vineyard, the grapes are kept warm by a fire to prevent them from freezing. Victoria teaches Paul about this, and then Paul joins everyone in doing a chore. The next morning, Paul is leaving after saying goodbye to Victoria. But then Grandpa catches him and asks, "Where are you going, son?" Paul says, "To sell chocolates." He says, No, you don't need to do all that anymore. We have such a huge vineyard, such a big house. It's all yours. Come, let me show you something." Saying this, he takes Paul around the place and tells him about his family, saying, "My great-grandfather first brought a living root of a special grape from Spain, and that's the beginning of this vineyard." He then leads Paul to a sapling and explains, "This is the sapling that grew from that root. Look, today our garden has grown so large and we're making so much profit, so much prosperity, and so many people have found work. For all of this, we should thank not only that person but also this root. It's almost like God to us." In this way, he recounts stories of his family's history and glory to his friends. He tells them that tomorrow is the harvest. It'll be fun to watch. It happens every year and it's like something out of someone's. It will be nothing short of a festival. Music will be playing everywhere. People will be singing. You're going to have a lot of fun. I'm telling you in advance." But Paul says, "Sorry, Grandpa, I can't stay until tomorrow. I have to go, it's an emergency." Grandpa becomes sad. "Son, if you leave, what will happen to my beloved Victoria? My son will turn into a beast and won't leave my daughter alive." Hearing this, Paul freezes completely. He decides, "Let's just stay for a day to harvest the crops and then I'll make some excuse and leave." Victoria is overjoyed that Paul agrees to stay another day. The next day, harvest is about to begin and Victoria's younger brother, Pedro, arrives. Everyone welcomes him. He came to join the harvest. He's studying in the city, so he gets along well with Paul. The whole family harvests together. The people working in the vineyard also have a lot of fun. Victoria then teaches Paul how to harvest. During this time, something starts to happen between them. Well, friends, Paul learns to harvest and does it quite quickly. He does a great job. Paul and Victoria's father then start a competition to see who can harvest the most, and everyone is very excited to see who will win. Paul's father is already quite experienced, but Paul still harvests almost as much as him. And then the father smiles, "Wow, the boy has the guts." Then the entire harvest is put into a large tank and some rituals are performed. Grandma is lowered into the tank, and she takes a conch shell and blows it in all 4 directions. Grandpa explains to Paul that this is how we thank our crops growing in all 4 directions, and these vineyards. Son, the women are then lowered into the tank to crush the grapes. Paul lowers Victoria in as well. All the women start crushing the grapes under their feet. That's how wine is made, and music is played to encourage them, and everything begins. Then Paul and Victoria, our new couple, are given a chance to dance. They can't contain their feelings for each other and are about to kiss. People jokingly separate them. But then, unable to control themselves, they return home and get intimate, but it was all in the heat of the moment. Later, Paul feels incredibly guilty. What have I done? My wife should be waiting for me, and here I am getting intimate with Victoria. What have I done? He begins to think this is a mistake. Victoria likes Paul, friends, that's why she's happy. But she also feels bad that Paul stayed here for her sake, and now she feels guilty because of him. Victoria apologizes again. The next day, Papa and Pedro are discussing their wine business, seemingly stuck on something. Paul offers some advice. But Papa insists, keep your opinions to yourself. What have you become? Just because you've become our son-in-law doesn't mean you have to help us make decisions. We don't want to. Victoria overhears this conversation and tells Papa, if you don't like Paul, just tell us right now. We'll both leave the house and live somewhere else in peace. We don't like hearing your constant taunts like this. Now Paul wants to leave anyway. Just then, while the maid goes to wash Paul's dress, a photo of Betty falls out of it. Before she can see it, Paul picks it up just in time, saying, there's no need to wash it, I'm taking it. But the woman refuses, saying, no, I'll wash it and return it. You won't keep dirty clothes like this. Victoria soaks it. Meanwhile, Victoria gets a stomachache. Seeing her, Paul quickly comes to her. He cares deeply for her. Victoria becomes angry and asks, why are you being so nice, Paul? Please go away. She continues, what can I do? I brought you here for just 1 day, but circumstances have changed. I'm falling in love with you, but you have your own life. Don't lose your settled home for my sake. Please go away now, I'll manage here by saying anything. Victoria leaves and hides among the wine barrels. Paul calls out to her, but her father stops him and he says, you